Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning with Bhagavatam Sangha and attentive japa later on. So thank you so much. We'll continue with Ajāmila's extraordinary pastime, never heard before or after. This is so amazing, but the holy name is always, always has that power as demonstrated in this pastime. So it's mentioned that one who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Even if he chants indirectly, jokingly, or for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully, this is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. So that is the power of the holy name. This is why Harinam is so important going on the streets, because people join in, they might mimic what we are saying, but it's so purifying. This is the amazing thing about the holy name. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Hamnam Shri Gurundin Taranam Pramnandamadam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvyasam Todo Jem Udiriyat Nashta Priyeshav Abhudareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nishtiki. Hare Krishna. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune. So we always wonder what would happen to a person if they died by an accident, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon. One is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. So it's mentioned here, yam yam vapisman bhavam tejati antkalebram tam tam eveti kunteya sada tad bhav bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without such practice, however, if one somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death. So this is the power of the holy name. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process for atonement. And one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonements. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. So it takes care of everything. So, all in one. We don't need to consult the pujaris or astrologers about, what should I do? What do I need to wear? They ask you to wear these gold rings and have this, stone put in there, so many things they tell you. But they're saying that if you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, that takes care of everything. So in this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. So the Samba was forcefully held by the Kauravas, I think one pastime, and describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana. And since according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya's daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor. So Samba abducted her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kauravas. Later, when Lord Balram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, Balram showed his power in such a way that all Hastinapur trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Then the matter was settled, and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equated in the material world. However powerful the reactions of one's sins, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hari, Krishna, Balram, or Narayan. But it has to be done, inoffensively. It's not that we can chant. We have discussed it so many times that you purposely commit a sin and then trying to neutralize it by, no, not like that. That is an offense. The idea is that, a mistake is done by error, but the holy name will help you to neutralize it, because you're not doing it to neutralize your, I have committed this sin, now I'll use this method. It's not like that. It's the same with Ajāmila. He wasn't trying to neutralize his sins. He was just inoffensively just chanting the holy name. So although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. And so this is the other thing we have discussed, that the material desires, although you might atone by austerity, charity, vows, and other methods, but the desires still remain. So sooner or later you will go back and commit more sinfuls and attain more sinful reactions. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the Personality Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. And so that's the whole idea of purification. You're purified. Your desires change, your vision of life changes, your mentality changes. So many changes come in your life, mentally and physically, and your actions and your thoughts. So many changes come. So if somebody says, oh, I'm still attached to this, so I have so many desires I like to fulfill because I don't want to die with all these desires, well, they really need a bit more purification. That's what it is. They need to chant the holy name with more focus, and by concentrating on the holy name, by listening. If you're still having desires, even though you're chanting regularly, then you have to check, where it's going wrong. It's not that you have to fulfill all your bucket list, because you might think about it at the time of death, or you'll have to come back to fulfill that. That thought should go if you're chanting properly. That there should be no material desires left if you chant properly, right? Because your thinking and your actions, your aspirations becomes different to what it was when you weren't chanting. So as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Prashan Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra Cha. Devotion service is so powerful that one who performs devotion service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. All desires within this material world are sinful. So any material desire is sinful, because material desire means sense gratification. That's the thing. If you're doing something to please your senses, or really need to do this, get it out of my system, but you're trying to please your senses, which always involves action that is more or less sinful. Pure bhakti, however, is anya bilashita shunya. In other words, it is free from material desires which result from karma and jnana. One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires. So here, Prabhupada mentions here One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires, and therefore he is beyond sinful life. Material desires should be completely stopped. Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, and charity may free one from sin, for the time being, one's desire will reappear because his heart is impure. Thus, he will act sinfully and suffer again. And you find this with the people who smoke, who, addicted to smoking, addicts basically, smoking, drinking, drugs, whatever. There's all sorts of addictions. And although you might get rehab, you get purified. I'm talking about the material rehabs. So you get rehab, but triggers come and then you're back again and you're back to rehab again. This happens with a lot of the personalities, famous personalities, in and out of rehabs all the time. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. Fire will act regardless of whether handled by an innocent child or by someone well aware of its power. So same with the holy name, whether you do it knowingly, unknowingly, it will work. It will have effect for you. For example, if a field of straw or dry grass is set on fire, either by an elderly man who knows the power of fire, or by a child who doesn't, the grass will be burned to ashes. Similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions. And this is when we join the Hare Krishna movement, first thing we do is start chanting. Because whether you understand the transcendental knowledge, you have read the transcendental knowledge, whether you're practicing the transcendental knowledge in association of devotees, it doesn't matter. First thing you do is start chanting. And that chanting, automatically, whether you understand why you're chanting or how powerful the chanting is, even if in the offensive stage, in the early days, because you don't know any better, the chanting will work for you. It will start purifying you. If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge, because his potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. That's the key. So medicine will work whether you understand, whether how good it is and how quickly it will recover you, or what's the ingredients, what's the main ingredient in that medicine. It doesn't matter. It will still work. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. This is the power. In the Western countries, where the Hare Krishna movement is spreading, learned scholars and other thoughtful men are realizing its effectiveness. For example, Dr. J. Stilson Judha, a learned scholar, has been very much attracted to this movement because he has actually seen that it is turning hippies addicted to drugs into pure Vaishnava. So what the doctors, specialists who have spent years studying about how to, stop addiction, how to help people with addiction problems, they find that they, surrendered, they gave up, that we can't help these people, we help them and then they go back again afterwards. And they're saying, well, here is a formula. It's so simple and yet so effective. So, they appreciate that. Wow. And it's free. It doesn't cost you, so much money. See, it is turning hippies addicted to drugs into pure Vaishnavas who voluntarily become servants of Krishna and humanity as well. Even a few years ago, such hippies did not know the Hare Krishna mantra, but now they are chanting it and becoming more pure Vaishnavas. Thus, they are becoming free from all sinful activities, such as illicit relationships, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. This is practical proof of the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna movement, which is spotted in this verse. One may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one somehow or other chants it, he will immediately be purified, just as one who takes a potent medicine will feel its effects, regardless of whether he takes it knowingly or unknowingly. And this is one more benefit of Srila Prabhupada coming to the West, because he because this Hare Krishna movement or Krishna consciousness is a science. So if that science applied in India, you would think, oh, these people, they were already Vaishnavas, right? Okay. Now they actually openly admitting we're Vaishnavas. So people already are aware of Krishna. They may have practiced, you know, they may have practiced this process in the past, or their parents or ancestors may have practiced it. So, you know, we can doubt. But to come to a country where they have never heard of Krishna, they never heard of the Maha Mantra, and to convert them using the process is the living proof that this science works, right? From something blank, you get a result, then you know that the process works. You know, it's just the proof. You know that there is no reason to doubt that, oh, it's an inside job. This is not an inside job. It's an outside external people who have been converted. Shri Shukadev Goswami continued, my dear king, having thus perfectly judged the principles of devotional service with reasoning and arguments, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu released the Brahman Ajāmila from the bondage of the Yamadūtas and saved him from imminent death. So you have Krishna on your side, you have the Viṣṇudūtas on your side, just by chanting the holy name. My dear Maharaj Parikshit, O subduer of all enemies, after the servants of Yamaraj had been answered by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, they went to Yamaraj and explained. So they have to explain why they didn't make the delivery, you know, why they come empty-handed, and explain to him everything that happened. The servants of Yamra are so powerful that they can never be hindered anywhere. So this is the first time that's happened. They came empty-handed. But this time they were baffled and disappointed in their attempt to take away a man they considered sinful. Therefore, they immediately returned to Yamaraj and described to him everything that happened. Having been released from the nooses of Yamaraj's servants, the Brahman Ajāmila, now free from fear, came to his senses and immediately offered obeisance to the Viṣṇudūtas by bowing his head at the lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamaraj. So he's seen it himself. Yamaraj, Yamadūtas one side, Vishnu the other, and how they saved him. You know, it's like baffling for him that how is that possible? I'm such a sinful person, and I have been given the chance here. Lord Krishna is very eager for the conditioned souls rotting in the material world to surrender to him and saved from material pangs in this life and punishment in hellish conditions after death. So Krishna is on our side. You know, he wants us to return. It's not that he wants it make it more difficult for us than he has to be. He's on our side, but he has to make sure we are serious about it. This is why he has employed Maya Devi to test us that are we qualified to return back home. You know, he has to check. He doesn't have to do himself. He has his agencies who can check for him and report back, saying, yes, this person's ready, this person is not ready. They will test us again and again to be, double sure that, yes, this person, is qualified to go back. So a Vaishnav therefore tries to bring conditioned souls to their senses. Those who are fortunate, like Ajāmila, are saved by Viṣṇudūtas or Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas are doing the job of the Viṣṇudūtas, because when you are being carried by the Maya, you're pulling them back, saying, no, look, you're going the wrong way. And thus they return back home, back to Godhead. O sinless Maharaj Parikshit, the order carriers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Viṣṇudūtas, saw that Ajāmila was attempting to say something, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. So for persons who are papishita, very sinful, and durachar, misbehaved, or very unclean in their habits, who are against the existence of God, who disrespect Vaishnavas and Brahmins, and who eat anything and everything, ultimate untimely death is sure. It is said that in Kali Yuga one has a maximum lifetime of about 100 years. That's the max. But as people become degraded, the duration of their lives decreases. Because Ajāmila was now free from all sinful reactions, so he's been completely purified. His lifetime was extended. So he didn't die. His lifetime was extended. Even though he was to have died immediately, so in his sinful state, it was better for him to die, so avoid committing more sins. He would have been better to die. But now he got a second chance. Nobody, not many people get this. He got a second chance because he's purified. Now it's better for him to live and get closer to Krishna. When the Viṣṇudūtas saw Ajāmila trying to say something to them, they despaired to give him a chance to glorify the Supreme Lord. Since all his sinful reactions had been vanquished, he was now prepared to glorify the Lord. Indeed, a bit like Daksha, when he got his goat's head, before he was really envious of Shiva. He didn't really like Shiva. He wasn't happy that Shiva has married my daughter Sati. But once he was purified, his head was chopped off, he got a goat's head, and then he suddenly starts glorifying Lord Shiva. So it's like that. Indeed, one cannot glorify the Lord unless one is completely free from all sinful activities. This is confirmed by Krishna himself. Yesham tav ant gatam papam jnananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drita vrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. The Viṣṇudūtas made Ajāmila aware of devotional service so that he might immediately become fit to return home back to Godhead. To increase his eagerness to glorify the Lord, they disappeared so that he would feel separation in their absence. In the mode of separation, glorification of the Lord is very intense. And that should be our mood, the mood of separation, which we don't have. I admit, I don't have that mood of separation, but we need to work on that. After hearing the discourses between the Yamdutas and Viṣṇudūtas, Ajāmila could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. These principles are mentioned in three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles which are above the modes of material nature and which concern the relation between the living beings and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajāmila heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus becomes a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted having performed. Ajāmila said, alas, being servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahman and begot children in the womb of a prostitute. So next time we will hear from Ajāmila more and his situation that he understands that what I have done wrong, and he will try and hopefully rectify that. And we all make mistakes. We all have done sinful activity knowing and unknowingly, but that does not end. That's not, that doesn't mean we cannot do anything about it. Krishna's doors are always open for everyone, for his naughty children and his good children. They're all welcome in the parents' home. So if the naughty child can get better, Krishna or the parent welcomes them with open arms. So thank you all so much for joining. My Father Loji, Hina Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Madhav Sham Sundar Prabhu, and Pundikaksh Prabhu, Surashya Gopi Mataji. Thank you all so much. Love to hear from Surashya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, this is very nice. It's all about devotional service and chanting the holy of the name is so powerful. That's been described in different ways, and that what Ajāmila did. And because holy name of Krishna is transcendental and very powerful. Why? Because it's above the three modes of material nature. Anything we do in the three modes of material nature is not powerful, it's temporary. But that is permanent and is very the transcendental means above the material nature. And it frees one from unlimited sins. It doesn't matter how much sins you've committed. By chanting directly, indirectly, knowingly, just like Prabhu has mentioned. So it is effective. And one must take shelter of the Lord in difficult and dangerous situation. Well, obviously people do that to save us from the difficult situation. We chant the holy name of the Lord seriously, then the Lord will protect us, just like Ajāmila did it. And if we want to have a bhakti, then we have to try to surpass the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Ajāmila was very fortunate to hear the religious principles of devotional service from Viṣṇudūtas while they were conversing and with the Viṣṇudūtas. Viṣṇudūtas were conversing with. And after that, he knew that he had to do devotional service and atonement to get to the Krishna's abode. So after that he did atonement. And it says, a moment's association with devotees, one can detach from sinful activities. A moment is marvelous. That's a moment. That's like when you are leaving your bodies for a moment. If you can think of Krishna, you can be delivered. And I was just thinking, in Ramayana, it says in the, I know a lot of people can understand Hindi, but it's so meaningful. It says, एक घड़ी आधी घड़ी, घड़ी means 1 hour, आधी घड़ी आधों में पुनियाद, this quota, तुलसी संगत साधु के कटे कोटि अपराध. That moment's association of devotees, all the sinful activities are vanished. And if one desires free from material bondage, one should chant the holy name of the Lord. That's the only way. And it says in Bhagavatam, the Kali has so many bad qualities, but it got one good quality, and that Sukdev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, Hare dosh nidhe rajan asti ek mahaguna kirtan Krishna se mukta sangha param brajit. There's so many faults in Kali Yuga, but there's one good quality. If you chant the holy name of the Lord seriously, you will be delivered. So that's why a lot of even the demigods want to come take birth in this planet Earth. So can be delivered by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So all that we were just discussing is about chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful, and we've got no other way to be delivered from this bondage, from material bondage, and from the hands of these Yamdutas. And they say they won't come near you, Yamdutas, if you chant holy name, because it's very, very powerful. Nothing is beyond that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Just thinking, the holy name, it protects us from hellish conditions, not only after death, but before death as well. Because if we weren't in Krishna consciousness, if we weren't chanting the holy name, where would we be now? We'd be breaking all the regulations, doing nonsense like people are doing, and end up in hospitals and rehabs, and that's hellish condition. If your health is lost due to addiction, then you have a body that is given to you for suffering, right? So you are already in hell. This is what they do in hell. They give you a body that is ready made for suffering. They make you suffer by giving your body, and you get tortured. And that's hell is also here. If you have some kind of very bad disease because you had addicted to smoking or lung cancer or liver cancer, something due to your addictions, then you have a suffering body, right? So you're suffering. So Krishna consciousness saves us from all that, that because like our Guru Maharaj says that Krishna has given you this body to do devotional service. So it's our duty to protect that body, to look after that body. And best way to do is to follow the regulations properly. Thank you, Mataji. Punyakaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, such a I think Hina Mataji put some point from the previous class. It all says the same thing. How important it is to chant the holy name. And I remember one class given by Nitai Kirtan Prabhu when we joined ISKCON earlier. Like I'm all good, so why should I do chanting? And Prabhuji mentioned that if you squeeze the orange, it gives you orange juice. If you squeeze the tomato, it gives tomato juice. So he said that shows that when you actually put the pressure, like tomato or any fruit looks so nice, but when you put the pressure on it, then actually the actual juice will come out only when you put the pressure on it. So we are also like that. So we look all good from outside, but when the pressure situation comes, that is where actual thing will come out from the heart. And for the heart to be purified, we need to do chanting. That's what Prabhuji mentioned in the class that time. So that's all, Prabhuji. And I like this one, like medicine, you know the value of medicine or not, but still you take it.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada generally gives example of jaundice with sugar candy. When the person is having jaundice, even sugar candy tastes bitter, but slowly that is the only solution for you to bring your tongue to the tongue taste back.
Yes. Yes.
So similarly, the chanting is the only thing which can bring you back to the Krishna consciousness. And during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastime, we know like Chand Kaji is the one who was a Muslim ruler, um, administrator, and he was actually against the Hindus that time and who were doing Sankirtan on the streets. And he broke the Mridanga and also said, I never saw you doing any kind of rituality things before, but how come suddenly you're done doing all these things? And who is the main person behind this? I'm going to punish him. And finally, he was punished by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So that's all, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, wonderful. Yeah, I really like that about the fruit. You really find out what comes out when you're squeezed. We can act so nice and polite and show all good manners, but the reality comes out when somebody squeezes you. Then the real person comes out. And I won't go into the details, but there was a joke about like a parrot, who would speak very sweetly, very sweetly. Somebody bought it for a lot of money and he took it home. And if you pull his one leg, it will say, very nicely something, and then you pull the other leg, you say in another language, very politely something. But it's when somebody pulled his both legs, then they really found out what really came out. The parrot had everything up his sleeve. So it's like that, when somebody pulls both of our legs, then the people find out what we are. The line comes out then, properly. So, thank you so much, Pandita Shru. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the class. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, this such a lovely pastime. I'm really enjoying at the moment. So many nice points from this class today, especially around how the holy name is so powerful and purifying. And I was just thinking about how really it's the only thing we should be holding on to for dear life. It's more valuable than anything else, that we have at our disposal. But I know personally I'm not taking advantage of this opportunity as much as I should be. I should be holding this in the highest regard. I should be trying to attach myself to the holy name. So yeah, that was quite enlightening. And I also like to other points around how atonement doesn't free one from committing the sin again. So really, it's only by surrendering to the Lord, chanting the holy names, does it actually purify one and releases us from material desires and our intentions. It's better than any atonement. So no, that's lovely. And thank you. And the devotees made some really nice points as well. So that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. This is why I have this association, so we can all benefit from each other and keep that consciousness, because there's so much, distraction out there that mind is always ready to be distracted. It's like, please distract me. Mind doesn't care, wants to be distracted. And by our intelligence, we bring it back to where it should be. If the mind is in control, then everything is in control. The senses are in control. So association is so important. Radharani, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yes, again, the importance on holy name, how it is given freely by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all of us. When we all get fed up with the sufferings and the tribulations of life, then the faith comes from within us that, yes, there is something more than the suffering. And then we take on the holy name and how dearly we hold it. And I really like this point in one of the realizations done today, that the Vaishnavas are doing the job of Maya Devi. Actually, they are keeping us away from Maya by, for example, right now, what we are doing, we are sitting right in the Maya. This is the world is Maya, made by Maya Devi, but in each other's association, we are dearly holding on to the holy name. So, and coincidentally, today is Good Friday. So, okay, in Christianity as well, they're going to be going to the masses today, and they're going to be thinking of their Jesus and his sacrifices. And every Friday we do the same thing here. We just think of how Lord came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so mercifully he took on the role of a devotee and he became a renunciate, and how he distributed the holy name freely. And his dear associate Nityananda Prabhu, who is Lakshman, who is Balaram, who is Ananta Shesha, and who is the first plenary incarnation of Krishna, he sang on the roads of Navadvip, on the roads of Nadia, singing that this is something which is sold freely. All the currency you need is faith. So if we don't, after doing hundreds and hundreds of classes, after hearing so much, if we still don't have the faith, then I'm sure Krishna is still laughing that, don't worry, I'm still waiting for you. Hare Krishna, I hope you all have a lovely break.
I like your point. Yeah, for us, every Friday is a good Friday. That's nice. But I think you meant to say Vaishnavas are doing the job of Viṣṇudūtas.
Viṣṇudūtas, not the saving us from Maya.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jai Prabhu has nicely just given as a summary so we can all remember. Chanting the holy name of the Lord will be effective even if we done indirectly, jokingly for musical entertainment, and even if one does not have any idea value of such chanting. Following an argument between the Viṣṇudūtas and Yamdūtas, Ajāmila was released by the Yamdūtas and saved from imminent death. Yes, the Viṣṇudūtas and Yamdūtas disappeared from the scene. Ajāmila understood the conversation that took place, went on to become a pure devotee, and he regretted his past sinful activities. And Ajāmila regretted degrading family tradition as well. Very nice. Yeah, he had left his chaste wife and abandoned his elder parents, not taking care of them. So he hurt so many people, so it shows that just when we become selfish and only think of pleasing our senses, we're letting down so many people. We're not only letting ourselves down and preparing ourselves to go into hellish conditions in this life and in next life, or rather even between the two lives, but we're letting down so many people that have expectations from us. So Krishna consciousness is so important. Thank you so much. And I think we are ready to chant some strong rounds to help us purify more and more. Good, clean will be nice today. Sreshi Mataji, Pundikaksh Prabhu. Sreshi Mataji would like to please start. Hare Krishna.